Why do women often come back after you've stopped chasing? This question has puzzled many of us, and today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind it. Let me tell you, it's not about playing games or manipulating anyone. The answer lies into fundamental principles, understanding psychology, and mastering self-respect. When you stop chasing, you create a sense of scarcity. Think about it. What's more valuable? Something that's easily available or something rare? Scarcity changes the dynamics, shifts the focus, and makes others reevaluate how much they value you. This is a game changer. But here's the key: this isn't just about pulling back to gain attention. It's about focusing on personal growth. When you invest in yourself, your fitness, your finances, your passions, you don't just attract others. You build a stronger, happier version of yourself. Emotional control is the third pillar of this approach. It's easy to feel reactive, to seek validation when things feel uncertain. But the moment you take a step back and choose emotional poise, you shift the power dynamics. Women notice this, and trust me, it's incredibly attractive. In this video, I'll break down the psychology of why women often return when you focus on these principles. You'll learn how to handle relationships with wisdom, confidence, and respect for yourself and for others. So if you've ever been left wondering, what went wrong, or what should I do next? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have the answers you've been looking for. Have you ever noticed how luxury items, whether it's a limited edition watch, a designer handbag, or even a rare vintage car, are always in high demand? It's not just because they're beautiful or well-made. It's because they're scarce. Scarcity creates value. When something isn't readily available, we instinctively want it more. And you know what? The same principle applies to relationships. Let's break it down. Imagine if someone was always available to you, constantly texting, calling, or showing up uninvited. At first, it might feel flattering, but over time, it becomes predictable and, dare I say, boring. When there's no sense of mystery, no space to miss someone, attraction starts to fade. Scarcity introduces an element of unpredictability, making you more intriguing and desirable. Here's a real-life example. One of my friends was always the yes man in his relationships. If his partner asked for his time, he dropped everything. If she hinted at needing something, he bent over backward to provide it. At first, it seemed like a great way to show love, but it backfired. She started taking his efforts for granted. The moment he realized this and decided to pull back, not in a manipulative way, but to focus on his own life, something shifted. She began reaching out more, planning dates, and appreciating his efforts, because she no longer felt his presence was guaranteed. Now, here's where it gets practical. Setting boundaries is crucial to creating this dynamic. For example, if you're always available to reply to a text or drop your plans for someone, you're sending the message that your time isn't valuable. Instead, prioritize your own schedule. It's not about ignoring or ghosting someone, it's about valuing yourself enough to say, I'm not always available, but I'm present when it matters. Another key point to remember is that scarcity doesn't mean being cold or distant. It's about creating balance. You're showing that while you care about the relationship, you also respect your individuality and expect the same from your partner. Think of it like a dance. You step forward, they step back. Then they step forward, and you match their energy. It's this rhythm that keeps things exciting and sustainable. Scarcity creates space for growth for you and your partner. Use this time wisely. Work on your fitness, explore a new hobby, or invest in your career. Not only will this make you feel more confident and fulfilled, but it will also show that your life is rich and complete with or without their constant presence. So, here's my takeaway for you. Be like that rare gem or luxury item. Show your value by setting boundaries, respecting your time, and investing in your personal growth. It's not just attractive, it's empowering. And you'll find that the right people will respect and admire you even more for it. Let's talk about the psychology of absence. Have you ever noticed that when something disappears from your life, you tend to think about it more than when it's present? This is not a coincidence, it's a deeply rooted psychological principle. Absence makes the heart grow fonder because we naturally notice what's missing far more than what's consistently available. Think about it. When was the last time you deeply appreciated your favorite piece of furniture, your car, or even a close friend? Now, imagine losing them. Suddenly, their value becomes undeniable. This same principle applies in relationships. When you pull back, you create a disruption to the status quo. This makes the other person notice your absence, often rekindling their interest. Here's a real-life example. I knew someone who was constantly chasing his partner, always available, always responding within seconds. His partner, over time, started taking his presence for granted. One day, he decided to shift gears. He didn't disappear completely, he just stopped being overly available. Instead, he focused on his hobbies, started hitting the gym, and spent time reconnecting with his friends. Guess what? His partner began noticing the difference, initiating conversations, and even planning outings. The shift in dynamics happened because she noticed his absence in the small ways she had taken for granted. Now, let's dive into the science behind this. When you disrupt the expected pattern of behavior, the brain registers this as a change, prompting curiosity and reevaluation. This is called the Zeigarnik effect, which states that people remember interrupted or incomplete tasks more than completed ones. By stepping back, you're essentially becoming an unfinished task in her mind, compelling her to think about you more. But here's the catch: absence without substance won't work. If you're not doing anything productive during this time, the absence loses its power. This is why self-improvement is crucial. Use this time to focus on yourself, your fitness, career, hobbies, and mental health. Not only will this make you more attractive to others, but it also boosts your confidence and self-worth. For example, imagine spending your absence learning a new skill or achieving a personal goal. The next time you meet, you'll have something exciting to share, something that showcases your growth. This isn't about impressing anyone, it's about showing that your life is fulfilling, with or without them. Another important point to remember is balance. Absence doesn't mean ghosting or ignoring someone entirely. It's about creating space for them to notice and appreciate your value. Think of it like cooking a steak. It needs time to rest for the flavors to settle. Similarly, stepping back allows the emotional dynamics to reset, making interactions more meaningful when they happen. Here's a practical tip. Identify one area of your life that you've been neglecting due to over-focusing on a relationship. It could be your health, a project, or a passion you've always wanted to pursue. Channel your energy there. The growth you experience will not only benefit you personally, but will also enhance your presence when you do engage with others. So, to sum it up, absence is a powerful tool, but only when used wisely. It's not about manipulation. It's about creating space for mutual appreciation and focusing on your growth. When you master this balance, you'll find that not only do others value you more, but you also value yourself more. Let's dive into one of the most vital aspects of relationships and personal growth: emotional control and self-respect. In life and relationships, emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to avoid being consumed by impulsive reactions and external validation. Think about this. Have you ever felt frustrated, ignored, or undervalued, and your first instinct was to react immediately, whether by sending a long text, calling repeatedly, or over-explaining yourself? These reactions come from a place of fear, not strength. When you're emotionally detached, you give yourself the power to pause, think, and respond instead of react. Here's why this matters. Emotional impulsiveness often leads to outcomes we later regret. It can make you seem needy or out of control, diminishing how others perceive your value. On the flip side, emotional control shows strength, stability, and confidence, qualities that naturally command respect. One critical foundation of emotional control is self-respect. When you respect yourself, you set clear boundaries and communicate your needs without fear. Self-respect sends a message to others that you value your time, energy, and emotional well-being. People tend to mirror the way you treat yourself. If you show respect for yourself, they are far more likely to follow suit. Let me share a real-life example. I know someone who was in a relationship where they were constantly taken for granted. They'd always be the first to apologize, the first to reach out, and the one bending over backward to make things work. Finally, they realized the problem wasn't the other person, it was their lack of self-respect. They started practicing mindfulness, focusing on personal growth, and setting boundaries. Over time, not only did their partner notice the change, but their entire relationship dynamic shifted. Now, you might be wondering, how do I build this emotional strength and self-respect? The answer lies in mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness allows you to focus on the present moment, understand your emotions, and react with intention rather than impulsiveness. For example, when you feel an emotional trigger, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what outcome am I hoping to achieve? The simple act of reflection can change the trajectory of a conversation or situation. Another practical tip is journaling. Writing down your feelings helps you gain clarity. It's a private space to express yourself without fear of judgment, which can prevent knee-jerk reactions in the heat of the moment. Over time, this habit strengthens your ability to process emotions constructively. Building self-respect also involves investing in your personal growth. Whether it's learning a new skill, pursuing a hobby, or setting a fitness goal, these actions not only improve your life, but also reinforce your self-worth. When you prioritize yourself, you send a powerful message. I am enough as I am. Let's not forget about the importance of body language and self-respect. Standing tall, maintaining eye contact, and speaking confidently are subtle yet powerful signals that reflect how you value yourself. Even if you don't feel confident at first, acting the part can lead to genuine internal confidence over time. Here's another key: avoid over-explaining yourself. When you feel the need to justify every action or decision, you're essentially seeking external validation. Instead, let your actions speak for themselves. This not only commands respect, but also strengthens your internal resolve. Finally, remember that emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, it means understanding them and choosing how to express them. When you master this, you'll notice a profound shift in how people interact with you. They'll see you as someone who's steady, grounded, and worthy of respect. In summary, emotional control and self-respect are interconnected. When you respect yourself, you naturally gain control over your emotions. When you control your emotions, you elevate your self-worth. And when you prioritize both, you create stronger, healthier relationships while empowering yourself to live a more fulfilled life. Let's talk about personal growth and why it's the most transformative thing you can do during a period of no contact. Many people focus so much on relationships that they forget the most crucial relationship they'll ever have, the one with themselves. When you step back from chasing someone, that time and energy you regain are invaluable. The question is, how are you going to use it? Instead of dwelling on what could have been or overanalyzing someone's behavior, redirect that energy toward becoming the best version of yourself. First, let's discuss fitness. There's a reason why fitness is such a popular form of self-improvement. It's about more than just aesthetics. When you invest in your health, you're not only improving how you look, but also how you feel. Exercise releases endorphins, reduces stress, and boosts confidence. Imagine walking into any room with that natural glow of self-assurance people can't help but notice. Next, consider your career and passions. Think about the goals you've put on hold because you were too busy focusing on a relationship. Now's the time to reignite those dreams. Maybe it's taking a course to advance your career, starting a side hustle, or pursuing a hobby you've always loved but never prioritized. Here's a real-life example. A friend of mine was in a similar situation. After stepping back from a one-sided relationship, they decided to pursue their passion for photography. What started as a simple interest turned into a thriving business. Not only did they find fulfillment, but their newfound confidence and sense of purpose made them incredibly attractive to everyone around them, including the person they had initially been chasing. Self-improvement doesn't just make you more appealing to others. It also gives you a sense of inner peace and independence. When you're pursuing goals and living a fulfilling life, you exude a magnetic energy. People are drawn to individuals who are passionate, driven, and happy on their own. Now, let's talk about setting goals unrelated to relationships. This is so important. Many of us subconsciously tie our self-worth to how others see us in romantic relationships. But when you set goals like running a marathon, writing a book, or mastering a skill, you're proving to yourself that your value isn't dependent on anyone else. Here's a practical tip. Write down 3 goals you want to achieve in the next 6 months. They can be as big or small as you want. Break them into actionable steps and hold yourself accountable. Celebrate every milestone, no matter how minor it might seem. Personal growth is also about building resilience. When you focus on bettering yourself, you learn how to handle challenges with grace. That resilience is incredibly attractive because it shows you can navigate life's ups and downs without losing your sense of self. And don't underestimate the power of your passions. When you're deeply engaged in something you love, whether it's painting, cooking, or traveling, you radiate joy. That kind of energy is contagious and makes you stand out in any crowd. Finally, remember that personal growth isn't just about ticking boxes, it's about becoming someone you genuinely love and respect. When you reach that point, you'll realize that whether or not someone comes back isn't the most important thing. What truly matters is that you're living a life that makes you proud. In summary, use the no-contact period as an opportunity to invest in yourself. Focus on your health, career, passions, and goals. When you do this, you'll not only enhance your appeal, but also discover a deeper sense of fulfillment that no relationship alone can provide. And when you're at your best, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. Now that she's returned or reconnected, how do you interpret her actions? Let's break it down. When someone comes back into your life, the key is understanding their intentions. Are they genuinely interested, or are they just dependent on the emotional push-pull dynamic? First, let's talk about genuine interest. A woman who truly wants to reconnect will show consistency in her actions. This means she will make meaningful efforts to communicate, spend time together, and genuinely listen to what you have to say. She respects your boundaries and won't rush to pick up where things left off without addressing past issues. Her return will feel balanced, not overwhelming or rushed. On the other hand, dependency on the push-pull dynamic is something you need to be cautious about. This happens when her return isn't based on genuine feelings, but rather on a need to reestablish control or out of habit. She might reach out sporadically, be inconsistent in her communication, or even pull away again once she feels she has your attention. This is where emotional awareness is crucial. You need to look beyond the surface and evaluate her behavior. Let me share a real-life example. A friend of mine went through this exact situation. After a no-contact period, his ex reached out, apologizing and expressing interest in meeting up. At first, it seemed genuine. But over time, her efforts were inconsistent. She would text him only when she needed validation and would disappear when things got serious. By observing her lack of consistency, he realized she wasn't truly invested and decided to focus on his own growth instead. Practical tip: look for signs of consistency. Is she showing up, both emotionally and physically? Does she make an effort to be part of your life, or does it feel one-sided? True interest comes with effort, not just words. Remember, her return is an opportunity for reflection. Evaluate whether this reconnection aligns with your values and the life you're building. If her actions match her words, then it might be worth exploring. But if it's just more of the same patterns, it's okay to walk away with grace and self-respect. In the end, focus on what you deserve: someone who values you, respects your boundaries, and contributes meaningfully to your life. Don't settle for less. So let's wrap this up. Today, we've explored some incredibly valuable lessons about relationships and self-respect, all through the lens of the no-contact rule. Let's recap the key takeaways. First, scarcity creates value. By stepping back, you shift the dynamics, making your presence more meaningful and attractive. Remember, when something is always available, it's often taken for granted. Scarcity isn't about manipulation, it's about valuing yourself. Second, self-respect is non-negotiable. Respecting your time, emotions, and boundaries is not just empowering, it sets the standard for how others treat you. When you hold yourself in high regard, people notice and naturally follow suit. Third, emotional control is your superpower. By detaching from impulsive reactions, you show strength and confidence. You're no longer at the mercy of others' actions or validation. Finally, personal growth is your ultimate foundation. Use the time apart to focus on yourself, your health, career, hobbies, and dreams. Not only does this make you more fulfilled, but it also makes you more attractive to others. And now, I have a question for you. Have you ever experienced the power of the no contact rule? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear how it's worked for you or even the challenges you've faced. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could use these insights. Together, we're building a community that values self-respect, personal growth, and meaningful relationships. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Remember, the first step to any great relationship is the one you take toward valuing yourself. See you in the next video.